Ever wondered how much safer your work at height operations could be? Imagine a world where every potential hazard is detected before it becomes a problem. Meet Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. This isn't just any camera, it's a game changer in work at height safety. Safety is paramount, right? It's the foundation of a productive and happy workforce. Despite stringent regulations, accidents still happen. Traditional methods often fall short in preventing these incidents. Enter Tracker AI's smart PTZ. This advanced system is designed to fill the gaps left by outdated safety measures. Tracker smart PTZ cameras deliver unmatched oversight so you can spot hazards before they become accidents. Offering 24/7 monitoring, it detects work at height safety hazards instantly, no matter the time of day or night. Think about it. Real-time monitoring, automated alerts and even fall detection. It's like having a safety manager who never blinks. Real-time alerts trigger immediate action, ensuring that potential dangers are addressed before they escalate. Automated surveillance significantly reduces human error, making your work site safer and more efficient. It even detects PPE and welding work compliance, ensuring that all workers are properly equipped. Ensure every worker goes home safe. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Ready to elevate safety? Stay safe, stay smart. With Tracker AI, you're not just upgrading your equipment, you're upgrading your entire safety culture. The Tracker Smart PTZ camera features advanced AI algorithms that are constantly learning and adapting to new safety challenges. With 360-degree rotation and high-definition video, it covers every angle, leaving no blind spots. You can decide which areas to cover, what to detect in each area through a simple online procedure without ever leaving your seat. Through the setup, you can monitor what is happening on the ground in real time remotely. In a recent case study, a manufacturing plant reduced accidents by 40% after implementing our system. Features include night vision, advanced monitoring for PPEs, work at height and welding activities, including real-time analytics, making it a comprehensive safety solution. Our team of experts ensures the highest quality and reliability, constantly innovating to meet your safety needs. Plus, our dedicated support team is here to assist you 24/7, ensuring that you get the most out of your investment. Join the revolution in safety with Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. It's time to take your safety measures to the next level. Visit tracker.live to learn more and get started today. Together, we can create a safer, smarter future for everyone.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hacklab Podcast. Today we are addressing an issue that is unfortunately far too common but rarely spoken about openly: workplace violence, with a special focus on women's safety. Violence in the workplace doesn't just mean physical harm. It includes harassment, bullying, intimidation and discrimination. For women, these challenges can be even more complex due to cultural, organizational, and systemic gaps. To help us navigate this critical conversation, we are joined by Vineetha ma'am, a highly respected trainer, auditor, and consultant with more than 10 years of experience in the safety industry. With her rich experience across industries, she brings not just the auditor's perspective, but also the trainers and consultants' insight into how organizations can reduce workplace violence and truly protect women at work. So let's get started. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. And I would request you if you can introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, so thanks, Mr. Ramper and Hacklab Solutions for giving me a second opportunity for this podcast. So I think you have covered almost my basic profile in your intro. So I've been working in safety industry or in domain for almost more than 12 years by now, and I'm a chartered member of IMIOSH, Institute of Occupational Health and Service, and I've also cleared my PCSP certified safety professionals and also international diploma in occupational health and safety by IdipNEBOSH. So currently I'm working as a freelance professional involving in consultancy, providing consultancy, training programs, and also auditing in ISO management systems and social compliance. So that is my brief background.
Thank you, ma'am. It's an honor to be back with another episode with you. Our first episode was really nice, so let's get started with this one. So, from your perspective, how do you define workplace violence, and why is women's safety such a critical part of this discussion?
Workplace violence, we all have a notion that violence is more of a physical forms like hitting, punching, stabbing, and all. But along with physical kind of violence, we should also consider the non-verbal or the even verbal and non-verbal kind of microaggressions, like giving a discriminatory kind of a joke can also be a part of workplace violence, or making a very subtle kind of gestures and actions or body language will also come under workplace violence. And also verbal threatening, I'll see you after this meeting, or I'll teach you a lesson. Some such kind of aggressive remarks or threatenings can also come into workplace violence along with physical aspects. And why this particular topic is because I feel that even though we say there is a lot of women empowerment happening in our nations, and women are brought forward in a lot of industrial sectors now, I still feel when it comes to their safety and security, there's still a question remaining back, whether they are still safe and secure as we are intending and saying so. Because recently even I was shocked apparently to read some news or to see some news channels reporting that women in defense area, I think it was in Navy, I think one flying officer has filed a complaint about the wing commander of sexually harassing her. So if even in competent and highly defenses, even my father is from defense background, so I see such sectors with high pride and respect. So even to see women in such area are also being harassed and abused is a painful thing to me. So I feel that this topic has to be taken up, and we need to discuss how women can be, not only women, I would say other marginalized communities like LGBTQ, transgenders, why they are being hushed into silence, and why their safety is not of paramount importance. So that is why I've exclusively taken up this topic.
Yes, ma'am, and I totally agree with you that this is a very important topic. In India, we have this slogan, "Beti bachao, beti padhao." So they say now, "Agar beti bachegi nahi to padhegi kaise?" So it is very important to protect the girls in every form, and this is a very important topic to talk about.
Amber, sorry to interrupt, but to add on that, I just saw one article, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao and all. But the question is Indian society ready to accept such daughters? That is the question. Because, right from childhood, we have this brainwashed mentality that successful women, should be kept under certain, it should be at men's feet. Have you read about one incident on Radhika Yadav, Amber? If you remember Radhika Yadav, a tennis girl being.
Oh yeah. Recently in Gurgaon, I think.
She
Haryana.
was shot by her own father, because the reason she was running a tennis academy, and she was successful, and she was generating a lot of revenue, and the society haunted or taunted her father like anything, that you are living on your daughter's expense or money, and that inferiority feeling led into killing. I think she was shot, I think. And even if you take
Yes.
Bollywood or any kind of films and all in 80s and 90s especially, even today also there is some element, but 80s and 90s in all the movies there is a rape scene. Bhagwan ke liye mujhe chhod do, if, and they feel that that is a sign of manliness. So lot of societal ideology of what women should be or how they should be treated are brainwashed into your mind since your childhood, and that is what the after effects we see, what is being happening to women in our society. Yeah, so I just
Right.
added to this
Yeah.
the moment you said Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao and all.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And I think like 80s and 90s, the pictures, the movies which were shown were more misogynist than what we see right now.
Yes.
You know?
Like in that movies and all, if women raises a voice, she was slapped. And even I feel shocked, Amber. Have you heard about Sarpanch, giving orders to women to be gang raped? Like,
No, nothing
yeah,
like
it
that.
was a fault of some man. I think he fell in love with a intercaste girl and they eloped somewhere. And for that, uh, thing, the Sarpanch Gav head or village head is giving orders to be sister to be gang raped by a group of men. So it's very kind of the hatred, or like as you told, the misogynistic attitude towards women is to so much in existence even now. So that is the reason why I think I took up this topic. Yeah, I just suddenly remembered.
Right. Yes. So moving forward, based on your audit and consulting experience, how widespread is workplace violence in Indian industries even today?
Okay, shockingly, the numbers are not going down. It is always on the increase. Like recently, where I just took some numbers on some study done by NCRB, National Crime Records Bureau, and according to their research and studies, in 2018, it was 402 recorded cases, the workplace violences, whereas when it came to after 4 years, it grew in number. It came somewhere around 450. And as you know that these numbers are not the actual numbers, because because there is underreporting. Not every case comes under the limelight. A lot of things goes hidden behind the mat or the rugs. So yeah, the number is always on the increase. And also I think it's in certain industries it has really improved. I mean, the women's safety has really improved, whereas in certain industrial sectors like agriculture, textiles, because most of the social compliance audit takes place in textiles, and then agricultural, farming, mining, even steel industries. When it comes to the shop floor level, yes, I still feel that there's no improvement in women's safety. It's almost the same condition. If you take a decade back, it's the same thing. There's not much of an improvement I can see in terms to women's safety and women empowerment.
Right. Ma'am, it's always just digressing from the question. It is said that if the society is more educated, they will start respecting women more. Do you think does it have any correlation or causal effect? If education level increase, the respect for women increases. What do you think?
The term education has to be detailed. If you take it in terms of academic qualifications just added to your name, it does not make much of a difference, because as I told earlier, even harassment is happening in different sectors. And even another example I would try to put forth, because you brought up this education word, that also was very shocking to me. Operation was going on in a very reputed hospital, and there was some break or some time gap in the between, and the doctor harassed one of the nurses in when an operation is going on, when a patient is on the operational table. So I don't think I can justify that word. If you're more educated, the kind of harassment and society supporting the women will or protecting the women will be improved. No, I don't think there's a education play a very vital role. But however, if it is the awareness or the knowledge of the person, or his, I would say, I would not use the word education, I would say the way of the thinking, if it is like in a very broad way, if he or she has a very broad way of looking at something, or their perspective is very broad and not narrow, then I think I would feel that there's a scope of improvement. Yes.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah. That's a very important point. Education alone doesn't define how you think, your mindset, because your mindset is developed over time. As a kid, you start seeing things, and that's how
Yes,
you pick up
yes,
many things.
that is very true.
Yeah. So, ma'am, moving forward, why do many women avoid reporting harassment or violence, and how can organizations break this silence?
Yes, as I told, the number that I stated earlier in the answer to your previous question cannot be the actual numbers, because obviously there is underreporting. The prime factor I feel that why there is underreporting is because of the fear of repercussions. Like if they voice out or if they bring out the issue, the kind of consequences they might face, like losing their job. Or in most of the companies, I think the other factor is favoritism. If Mr. X is a favorite of top management and I go and complain that Mr. X did swens to me, I don't think I would get a justice over there, because most of the cases what happen is that they take a judgment based on their favoritism or the person whom they are inclined to. And another reason why there is a why women is hushed into silence is because there is no transparent policies and procedures. Or in some companies, when we go for social audits, we see that some issues are reported, but what happens to that is not documented and recorded. Like what was the solution taken, whether it has been closed out. No, they are not able to show us any evidences. So these are the few things that contribute to women not reporting any issues with them. And the main reason is
Right,
fear of consequences, like losing their job.
right, right, right. I think the same thing happens, right? Suppose there's a fire. So we do the firefighting, but we never publish a report saying why did the fire happen, and what steps did we take, and where were we lacking. It's the same thing. Why did the harassment happen? Who did it? What were the consequences, and what was the scenario or circumstances that led to that? So we never report those things.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Right. So this brings in the limelight of the top management, So what role does top management play in creating a zero tolerance culture?
So obviously, as mentioned in my earlier podcast, there should be a commitment from their and interest from their side. Nothing can go and run in an organization where the top management is not at all interested and involved in. So they need to show their commitment. It can start with a zero tolerance harassment policies, policy and procedures, where to report, how to report, who has to do the investigation, how the committees has to be formed, and what the consequences or the outcomes has to be recorded, and what actions has to be taken. They should give different platforms for workers to voice out their issues and problems. So unless a system is there in the organization, we can't make sure that the women's safety and empowerment can happen. So the top management needs to step in, and it starts from there. So unless they are showing their commitment and interest, nothing will run in an organization.
Yes, ma'am. If someone has a harassment case against the CEO, whom should she report to?
This is
Because so if there is a harassment case against the CEO, who is the head of that whole organization?
so usually you
Okay.
can go to ICC where there is an external member, and then they will do the investigation, and if it is very valuable, they will give or inform the external regulatory bodies.
Right, right, right. Because informing the HR doesn't make sense, because HR is under
They
the
will play
CEO.
favoritism. So it goes to a committee
Yeah.
where there's an external member involved. Two cases, and there's slightly a sensitive topic. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So moving forward, how do standard like ISO 45001 or SA 8000 encourage organizations to address workplace violence?
So all the management system, obviously they follow a PDCA cycle, and that ISO 45000, they start with the policies, and another factor is they do proactive risk assessments where threats, different types of threats, including psychosocial risk, are identified and mitigation measures are brought in. And also ISO 45001 supports clear policies and procedure for each process and confidential reporting and also worker involvement. I think that is the biggest plus of ISO 45001 because compared to OSHA's 18001, worker participation and involvement is more. So committees, there should be worker representatives, and especially if there is a migrant workers, there should be a representative from their side. Women workers, there should be a balance of genders. And when it comes to SA 8000, the biggest plus point I would say that in not SA 8000, but in any social compliance audit, we get to interact with worker in a very confidential setup, like in a private secluded room. We get to interact with them. So there is more scope or platform or opportunities for them to open up to us. And we give assurance that we are not going to report your name or your details, but if there is anything that you have faced or the difficulties or issue, you can voice it out. So in SA 8000, there is more opportunities for workers to come out with their real fears and difficulties and issues, what they face. Sometimes we get to see the kind of pathetic PPs they are wearing. Sometimes we get to know that they have not been given proper training. Or sometimes we get to know that their medical, the payment for medical checkups are collected from their side. So in SA 8000, there is more worker interactions which help us to understand the culture of the company in more in depth.
Right. So, ma'am, what are some common red flags or gaps you frequently notice during audits related to women's safety?
In companies like big corporates, like all these big corporates, not much of red flags, but yes, in a normal average companies, some of the gaps that we identify comes in lack of infrastructure. Like the recent audit I did was for a steel company, and when we went down to the shop floor or assembly plant area, we found that women's toilet had urinals in them. So that means the restroom was commonly used by both men and women, but they have kept the board as women's restroom. And sometimes it's very pathetic that they don't have any means to dispose of their sanitary napkins during their menstruation time. So that is lack of infrastructure is one of the red flags that we usually come across. Or it could be lack of transportation. Women from remote area, sometimes in the late night shifts, they come alone and go alone, which can expose them to different threats like kidnapping or assault or sexual kind of harassment. So the lack of infrastructure, whether it is toilet facilities or sanitary napkin disposal system, lack of transportation, that is one common gap that we identify. And then another thing is, as I told, lack of transparent policies and procedures. Like if someone report, what is the procedure that company takes and what is the outcome that they will receive, no one has an idea. And another red flag that I commonly seen in certain industries, there is certain harsh disciplinary actions. Even for the slightest mistake, the outcomes or the disciplinary actions what management takes goes out of the limitations. Or hushing their freedom of collective bargaining, that you can't indirectly not allowing them to form a worker union and all. So these are some of the gaps that we identify during audits.
Got it. Some companies are like more authoritative in implementing their policies.
They want that Hitler kind of a dominance, yes.
Right. So, ma'am, what type of trainings have you seen make the most impact in preventing workplace violence?
When we go for audits and other projects and all, when we go through the documents, you can see all the trainings has been given, or the attendance sheets are there, like POSH, ICZ, and a code of conduct training. Everything has been given. But during the worker interviews, when we get to speak with them, so when we ask them, okay, tell us about code of conduct. Like if a company ABC Private Limited, you tell me, what do you mean by ABC Private Limited code of conduct? And the workers goes, they have nothing to say. And sometimes they ask us, what is code of conduct? So maybe in the documents everything is maintained and documented, but real worker awareness is not there. So I would say the basic training where the worker is aware of his or her rights and they know if they have an issue to come forward, especially who is my ethics counselor, in what way I can approach that ethics counselor or coordinator, how in what way I can raise my issues. If they know of them, then I would say it's an effective training. Otherwise, it's just a whitewashing system for audits. On ground level, I don't know how much is getting implemented.
Right. So, ma'am, what are the effective control measures for lone workers? And if you can also define what is a lone worker.
Okay. So, lone worker is obviously, as the name states, lone worker is someone who works alone. That means like a security guard guarding alone a company premises. But even if you have people around them also, you can be a lone worker. For example, a lorry driver is going alone on a public road with a lot of heavy goods and he accidentally hits a pedestrian. The entire people might lynch him or beat him up. So sometimes, or you're going door to door for sales. Even though there are other people around him, you are considered as a lone worker because you don't have the backup support. So especially if a woman is going as a lone worker, the risks are more. So you can first you try to eliminate the lone working condition. That is the first control measures you can implement, like give a buddy system, put them in work in pairs or groups. And then you can also implement engineering controls like GPS tracking systems, or there is something known as man down alarm system, which is something clipped onto your body. And if something that someone attacks you or you slip and fall and you are lying down in a unconscious state, this device will alert the head or your supervisor that you are not moving for a certain time. Then surveillance cameras, then administrative control measures like visit rules. When if some visitor come, what are the norms and procedure? Then what is the sign in out and sign out procedures, and also your PPs, whistles, flash lights, torches, whistles, and cabin for securing your goods, and also access through only authorized entry, swipe cards, punching systems, and hiring security guards. So a lot of things can be implemented to make sure that there is no lone working risk for women and other people in the company.
Right. So, ma'am, in India right now, gig economy is a big part of Indian economy. So there are so many these riders who work for Zomato and other companies like Urban Company or stuff like that. So I think they come under lone workers because they are riding their bike doing some job, and the company needs to be aware and responsible if something happens to them.
Yes, because they can get hit by another vehicle and they can be left on the road. So there are a lot of lone or even medical conditions. Sometimes their pressures can go up or their diabetic condition can get worse, and so they can also come under lone working category. So remote supervision, some kind of technological devices which can track their movements, and some kind of good coordinations within the teamwork can all play a good role in protecting those workers. Yes.
Great. So, ma'am, can you share examples or any one example of an organization that have successfully reduced workplace violence and created safe environment? Who is this rising star?
There is no just one rising star. I've seen this system in a lot of good, well-established MNCs like Google, Amazon, Dell, and all. They have a ethics department or ethics cell exclusively, and that is also not applicable to women, to anyone who has faced any sort of workplace violence or harassment. That team is like 24/7. You can just confidentially tell them or even approach them directly. You tell them your issues, and then they immediately start a investigation on that particular thing. And that is applicable to any level of designations, whether you are someone from the shop floor, even to the top management or board senior level member. It is same, and that is what I like, and it's very transparent and openly communicated. And then if they find that evidences are valid and if it is proved with a lot of facts and other things, the action is also same for every level of the employee in that organization. So such stringent systems and a very organized way of dealing with issues and complaints have reduced the violence and harassment to a very significant level. So that kind of a department or a cell only existing to deal with these kind of issues is a very good, very effective control measure, I would say.
Okay. Now, moving forward. So, as we come to the close of our podcast, what would be your message to women professionals about asserting their right to safety and dignity at work?
All right. So, just very simple some message here, that because you should all, and not only it does not apply to women, to everyone. So, the right for you to have a safe and dignified life on this planet is your hug. It's your basic right. It is a fundamental human right for anyone. So if you have not been harassed, if you have been abused in any sort or any manner, please, you should know that you have the right to bring it up. You have to voice it up. So, and that awareness should be there with all the people, not just to women, to anyone who is undergoing any type of harassment or issues in the workplace. The right to live or lead a dignified life is your right. आपका हक है. So please understand that, and try to have more awareness and knowledge on these kind of subjects, and make sure that it's your right and you should utilize that right if you think a situation comes in your life. So that is the simple message that I have to give to you.
Right. Ma'am, I was just thinking, like, you quoted a number from the national reports, and you must have talked to people all over India. Do you think there is more? Do you think
I did not talk to it. I just took it. I just did a Google search and I got it.
Yeah. So it's from the government, right?
It's a central government body, I think.
Yes. So, do you think there is more cases of harassment in blue collar jobs than the white collar jobs, or do you know anything about this differentiation?
I think the type of harassment is slightly different. Maybe when it comes to shop floor and blue collar, as you told, the kind of violence could be more physical and verbal. But when it slightly goes to the upper or white collar, I think it's more like a microaggression, because obviously they know that if they take it out in real sense, you can file a complaint. So it can be a insult wrapped up like a joke.
More subtle.
Yeah, subtle kind of, and it'll pain you at the right part.
Yeah.
Or not involving you in a project.
Yeah.
Or involving you in a team, but you are given the most silliest task, even though you know that you are more qualified and you are more capable. So they can play subtle games with you. So in white collar and upper levels, it's such kind of games.
Right.
Microaggressions, we call that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for being on our podcast today and sharing your knowledge and deep insights with us. What really stood out is that reducing workplace violence isn't just about policies on paper, but it's about creating a culture of trust, accountability, and respect. For organizations, the responsibility is clear: move beyond compliance to commitment. And for individuals, especially women, it's about knowing your right and having the courage to speak up. If you found today's episode useful, do share it with your colleagues and network, because change begins with awareness and conversation. Thank you for joining us on this insightful episode. Stay safe, take care, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and thanks, Amber and Hacklab Solutions for giving me the opportunity. It was nice once again meeting you.
Thank you. Thank
Stay
you,
safe.
ma'am.
Thank you.